Morning. We already talked about what we're doing today. And the two questions that you have to answer: what happens in Progress Report 9, April 3rd entry is writing a summary of that entry. So today we'll practice taking margin notes on the main idea. Okay, we'll stop after every paragraph or a couple paragraphs and think, well, what was that about? And then the fourth question: how is the April 3rd entry an example of dramatic irony? I will definitely talk with you about that, and I'll even write a sample response here, and so you can see what you might write there. So let's go ahead and take a look. I do want you to know that when I'm using the tools that I can use on Screencastify, that they're tricky, so you'll see me erasing some stuff and things like that. Progress Report 9, April 3rd. Dr. Strauss showed me how to keep the TV turned low so now I can sleep. I don't hear a thing. I still don't understand what it says. Few times I play it over in the morning to find out what I learned when I was sleeping, and I don't think so. Miss Kinnian says maybe it's another language or something. But most times, it sounds American. It talks so fast, faster than even Miss Gould, who was my teacher in 6th grade. I don't remember. She talked so fast I couldn't understand her. So I'm going to grab my pen and make a quick margin note, which I will then have to erase to be able to keep going. But what is that mostly about? Well, it's about the TV, right? That little TV. I'm going to put that in quotation marks because it's actually not a TV. It's some kind of learning device. And how he doesn't, so this symbol means not, he doesn't understand. So there was my margin note. I have to write really big because it's like a crayon. You can write small in your margin if you have your blue packet, okay? If you don't have your blue packet and you don't write your margin note, I don't know what to tell you, okay? All right, moving on. Let's see what the next part's about. So I'm right here. Page 6, I believe. Yep, page 6 at the bottom or 290 at the top. I told Dr. Strauss, what good is it to get smart in my sleep? I want to be smart when I'm awake. He says it's the same thing, and I have two minds. There's a subconscious and the conscious, and that's how you spell it. And one don't tell the other one what it's doing. They don't even talk to each other. That's why I dream. And boy, have I been having crazy dreams. Wow, ever since that night TV, the late show. I forgot to ask him if it was only me or if everybody had those two minds. I just looked up the word in the dictionary Dr. Strauss gave me. The word is subconscious, adjective, of the nature of mental operations yet not present in consciousness as subconscious conflict of desires. So we know that's a definition because it's like italicized. There's more, but I don't know what it means. This isn't a very good dictionary for dumb people like me. So this part right here, what I would say that's mostly about is he's finding out about the subconscious mind, subconscious, and how that's learning. So subconscious is learning. It's learning, people, his subconscious. Okay. Next little chunk. Anyway, the headache is from the party. My friends from the factory, so we know they're not his friends, so let's see what happens here. My friends from the factory, right here, Joe Carp and Frank Riley invited me to go with them to Muggsy's Saloon for some drinks. So a saloon is a bar. I don't like to drink, but they said we'll have lots of fun. I had a good time. Joe Carp said I should show them how I mop out the toilet in the factory, and he got me a mop. So we find out here that he's a janitor. I showed them, and everyone laughed when I told them Mr. Donegan said I was the best janitor he ever had because I like my job and do it good and never come late or miss a day except for my operation. Over here now. I said, Miss Kinnian always said, Charlie, be proud of your job because you do it good. So what I'm learning right here, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Oops. Is that they go to a party with, oops, that's a W, Joe and Frank, okay, and they have drinks. But he says he doesn't have drinks because he doesn't like them. Okay, he says, I don't like to drink, but they'll said we have lots of fun. Maybe he has a drink, who knows, doesn't tell us, right? But he says he doesn't like them, so. Anyway, so they go to a party with Joe and Frank. Everybody laughed, and we had a good time, and they gave me lots of drinks. So he does drink, okay. And Joe said, Charlie is a card when he's potted, which just means that he's funny when he's drunk. I don't know what that means, but everybody likes me. We have fun. I can't wait to be smart like my best friends, Joe Carp and Frank Riley. So I'm going to stop here. This is about Joe and Frank get Charlie drunk, right? Okay. All right. So that's what that's mostly about. Next paragraph. I don't remember how the party was over, but I think I went out to buy a newspaper and coffee for Joe and Frank. And when I came back, there was no one there. I looked for them all over till late, and I don't remember so good, but I think I got sleepy or sick. A nice cop brought me back home. That's what my landlady, Mrs. Flynn, says. So I'm going to stop at this chunk, and I'm going to put 2 words. Ditched Charlie. They ditched him, didn't they? That's what they did. They got him drunk. They sent him out for something. He thinks they're his friends, so he got it. Comes back, nobody's there. They ditched him. But I got a headache and a big lump on my head and black and blue all over. I think maybe I fell, but Joe Carp said it was the cop. They beat up drunks sometimes. I don't think so. Miss Kinnian says cops are to help people. Anyway, I got a bad headache and I'm sick and hurt all over. I don't think I'll drink anymore. So probably he got so drunk that he was stumbling, right? And that's why he's black and blue. And Joe Carp thinks it's funny, so says that a cop beat him up. But we know that that's not what happened. Okay? Miss Kinnian knows that's not what happened. She says cops are to help people. So what am I going to put here is that he stumbles. Actually, I'm not going to put stumbles because that's not in there. That's an inference. Let's do what we actually see. So I'm going to get rid of that. Cop brings him home. All right. So at this point, we are going to flip on over to our questions. And I'm going to use my margin notes, and I have them on my paper to help me write my what happened in that entry. Okay? So in the April 3rd entry, what happened first? Well, Charlie learns, or not Charlie learns, excuse me. Charlie explains he doesn't understand the TV. And then the next chunk was, what I say in my margin note, he learns, this is where he learns, that the subconscious mind is what's learning. And then he goes to a party. I'm just looking at my next little main idea. Party at a bar with Joe and Frank. And they get him drunk. Okay, and then the next chunk, Joe and Frank ditch Charlie. He is brought home by a cop. So that is all of my main idea, my margin notes, and that's how we write a good summary, okay? Is by using those margin notes, stopping every little chunk to write what it's about, and that will help us guide us in writing our summary. So in the April 3rd entry, Charlie explains he doesn't understand the TV. I should probably put that in quotation marks because it's not really a TV, right? It's some kind of learning device. He learns that the subconscious mind is what's learning. He goes to a party at a bar with Joe and Frank, and they get him drunk. Joe and Frank ditch Charlie. He's brought home by a cop. I like that. That's pretty good. So you should pause the video here so that you can go ahead and do yours. Okay, please don't copy mine word for word. But obviously, all of our summaries are going to sound the same. How is the April 3rd entry an example of dramatic irony? Well, remember that dramatic irony means that the audience, that's us, we know what Charlie does not. So there is a lot that we know, and you'll have to decide what do you want to write about. So what do we know? Well, the first thing that I know is that he says, everybody likes me and we have fun. Okay? That is not true. Oops, not that part. That is not true. Everybody likes me and we have fun. So Joe and Frank like to take advantage of him. And we see that when they ask him to mop out the toilet, like clean the toilet. They're not laughing. And he says, we all laughed. Where is that here? Where is it, y'all? Okay, I showed them and everyone laughed when I told them that Mr. Donegan said I was the best janitor he ever had because I like my job and I do it good. So in that part, they're actually teasing him. They're laughing at him. And he thinks that they're having fun together, but we know that what's happening is they're actually taking advantage of him because he doesn't understand what's going on. So that is one example right there of dramatic irony. And the way that works is that Charlie doesn't know that they're taking advantage of him. They're using him for their amusement. They've gotten him drunk to laugh at him and to tease him. We see that when they have them clean, he cleans out the toilet. Okay. I mean, they're humiliating him there. And then the next example of something that we know that he doesn't know is that they ditch him here. They ditch him. He doesn't realize that. He looks all over for them. He doesn't know where they went. He thinks they're still around. He doesn't know that they ditched him. And then Joe Carp tells him that the cop beat him up. And he doesn't know what we know, which is that he got really drunk. He probably was stumbling. He's got a lump on his head because of that. So those are the different dramatic ironies there. There's multiple places that you could talk about and explain that the audience knows these things, but Charlie does not. Okay? Now, I'm not going to write that answer. I want you to be able to phrase it in your own words. You can go back and listen to what I just said again if you would like to help you. Choose one of the places. So this is one place where there's some dramatic irony, where he says everybody's laughing and that we're friends, right? That's this part. And we know that they're actually not friends, okay? And that they were making fun of him, amusing themselves at his expense. Or you could talk about down here, okay? This is the other example where they ditch him. He has no idea they've ditched him. We know. And that they say, oh, you must have lumps on your head because of a cop beating you up. But we know a cop did not beat him up. That they just got him so drunk that he was stumbling. Okay, so that is that, guys. Go ahead and answer the question, and we are done for today.